If you really want to be happier, healthier, and hotter, then you got to live a life by a set of values. And most people don't actually lack values in their life. They just lack an awareness of the values that they actually already live their life by. And since you clicked on today's episode, I know that you're kind of in that limbo state where you don't really know exactly what your values are and you want to become a better, more aligned version of yourself. And today we are going to be giving you the tools for exactly that, so that you can live life based on your values, so that you can feel clear about who you are and where you want to go, even when things get hard. Because that's what our values do for us. They give us a foundation so that we can live out our best lives, so that we know that day to day we are showing up as the version of ourselves that makes us proud. When you live your life based on your values, you feel grounded within yourself, so much so that you don't listen to all of the noise. You don't second guess your decisions. You don't care as much of what other people think about you because you are so aligned, so in tune with yourself because you know what your values are and you make decisions. You move through life based on this lens that you choose to do everything through. There is such a sense of sureness that comes within ourselves, such a sense of confidence when we do live our life based on our values. And that is what I want you to step out of today's episode feeling really ready for, is this sureness, this confidence that comes from living by your values. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of To Be Known. If you're new here, my name is Makayla Morman and I'm your go-to girl when it comes to anything personal development related in your 20s. If you're older, if you're younger, I do not care. I am just happy that you are here because today we are going to be talking about getting real, getting honest with ourselves about what our values actually are and what we can do to feel aligned with them in our lives. I think that living by my values is something that I have been really strict about with myself for the past 2 years. I really came up with my own code book for myself of what my values actually are and making sure that I am doing things every single day to show up for myself and for my values. And I know what it has done for my life and I want the same for you today. Life can be so aimless when you don't know your values because things can go awry very quickly. You can go into relationships that aren't actually working for you. You could be going down a career path that isn't right for you. When you don't live your life based on your values, it is this constant second guessing of yourself and this constant wondering if you are actually going down the right path for you. That is not what I want you to be living life as. I want you to be stepping into values, stepping into your standards of how you hold yourself and what you expect from other people, because values and standards are so deeply intertwined with one another, but you cannot have standards without having values, in my opinion. And if you want to have a life that feels very fulfilling for you, you got to start off with understanding your values. You got to get honest with what actually drives you as a human being. And that is something that we are going to be getting very clear on today. The thing about values is that they change, they ebb and flow throughout the course of our lives. What once was valuable to us and our time in the past when we were younger is different than where we are at now. And what is important to you now might be different later on in life. So your values are not necessarily stagnant. They are able to grow and change and ebb and flow with you as you develop as a person. And if you are feeling misaligned in your life right now, that isn't random. It is a sign that what you are doing in your life, how you are spending your time and your day to day, your thought patterns, your emotions, your behaviors, whatever it is, something is misaligned from your values. And today, hopefully, we will be able to understand where that misalignment is really coming from when it does come to your values in your life. It doesn't matter right now if you are feeling misaligned or if you are feeling like you are on the right path. What I really want you to understand is that there is a deeper meaning, a deeper attachment that we have to ourselves with how we spend our time, how we spend our energy, how we spend our attention, because it shows us what we actually value. If you are constantly feeling burnt out in your life, what that might show you is that you value achievement over balance. If you stay in the wrong relationships, it might show you that you value comfort over truth. There are things about the way that we spend our time. There are patterns within us that show us what we actually value. The goal of this episode is to stop picking values to base our life on that sound good on paper, because if you are not already doing it, it's not actually one of your values and it's not aligned with your life. We can choose so many values that look good on paper, like wisdom or growth or authenticity or freedom, but we don't actually live them out, and that is okay. Your values are not for the aesthetic of having them. You are not supposed to have the perfect list of values for your life. They are not supposed to be the things that make you feel better about yourself. Your values are evidenced in your behavior and how you actually show up in your life. The truth is, if something isn't showing up in your life, it is just not a value yet. And you need to switch your mindset from this question of what should my values be to this question of what do my actions prove that I actually value? You have to meet yourself with where you are actually at in order to understand your values and your life right now. I've spent the first half of this episode sharing with you why it's so important for you to understand where you are currently at in your life and how your values are reflected by your actions, your behaviors, your emotions. And now we need to talk about how you can actually understand what your values are by looking at your life. When you look at your emotional reactions to things, that is your biggest clue of figuring out what your values actually are. Because the things that trigger you out of people or circumstance or whatever it is in life, that just shows you what you actually care about. When you look at the things that make you feel excited, that shows you what really matters to you. When you recognize what drains you, that shows you misalignment in your life from your values. So when we look at the things that we do, when we look at the ways that we react to the world around us, these are clues as to what our values are. Emotions of jealousy, resentment, admiration, excitement, all of these things teach us something about what we actually want. These things are not random. They are showing you what you wish that you had more of in your life. When you notice that you are feeling jealous of someone's freedom that they have in their life, it is showing you that you might value autonomy in yours, and you might feel a lack of it in your life right now. If you feel drained from surface level conversations and friendships, it might show you that you actually just value depth. You should allow jealousy, resentment, adoration to be a signal of what is keeping your life from being that potential that you see in others. How are you holding yourself back by not truly aligning your actions with your values like you see other people living in their lives? Remember that your emotions are data to what you actually value. Another thing when it comes to trying to figure out what your values actually are is looking at your patterns. It doesn't necessarily matter what your intentions are in love, in life, in career, in what you do on your day-to-day. You need to look at your behavior. You need to look at the data of your life and understand what values you can find within it. Look at the people who you hang out with, your friends, your family, the people who you date. Look at how you spend your time on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly. Are you someone who genuinely tries to take care of yourself every single day? Are you someone who parties on the weekends? Are you someone who says that they want to stop scrolling on your phone, however, you keep doing it every single day? Look at how you actually spend your time. Look at what you tolerate in your life, either with your behaviors in yourself that you make excuses for, or the behaviors of others that you do the same for. What are you tolerating in your life that is either good for you or bad? Look at what you are avoiding in your life on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly, in your relationships, in your relationship with yourself. Look at these things, look at these patterns in your life and recognize them for what they are. When you look at your patterns, you understand that they are your values system in action, because most people say that they value one thing, but they actually do another. And that is where we're trying to understand our values here and how they actually align with our life. The thing that we might say that is good on paper that actually doesn't truly align with our life. Because the truth is, you can say that you value respect, but you tolerate disrespect from people. And when you look at that, you realize that you don't value respect enough yet to actually make it an actionable decision and choice in your life. Your patterns are more honest than your words. You have to believe what you see consistently, not just what you tell yourself. When you look at your actions and you look at your patterns, that is who you actually are right now. It shows you what you value in life currently. Chances are, when you look at your patterns, you're probably not going to like everything that you see, and that is okay. Take that as a sign that you just need to step into growth and you need to step into actions that actually reflect the values that you want to represent in your life. This is just a signal. This is just an opportunity for you to align with what you want to truly matter to you. With all that being said, I just want you to understand that this is not about creating the perfect list of 10 values that you need to live your life based on right after this episode comes to a close. This is not the focus here. What I want you to understand is that your values show up in your life right now. And if there is something that you don't like about your life, then that means that there's a misalignment with what your values actually are. You need to look at the deeper meaning. You need to look at the internal picture of where you are at right now and how you are showing up in your life. The truth is, you really only need 3 to 4 values that you make sure that you live out every single day from this point on. You need to make sure that you show up as your values every single day and honestly check in with yourself on the daily of how you are showing up in your life. And for me, I do this in my journaling practice every single morning. I write down a list of 10 things that I'm going to do that day that are all categorized by the 3 to 5 standards that I live my life based on. And I check mark every single morning whether or not I actually fulfilled those things the day before. And this has honestly really helped me feel like I am living a life based on my values, that I'm really aligned on the things that are important to me right now, which are love and growth and strength and abundance and gratitude and adventure and creativity. Those are the things that are really important to me that I try to live my life every single day based on. And I try to do it every single day. And some days aren't perfect. Some days are where I actually hit all of those values that I have in my life. And I feel really successful on those days. And so if I were to recommend an actionable step for you, it's to get really clear on 3 to 4 values and think of things that you can do in your day-to-day from here on out that feel aligned with your life right now. And I want you to copy what I am doing in my life right now. Get a journal, write down 10 things that you could do, align them with 3 to 4 values that you have in your life, and go back every morning and check mark what you did the day before, or check mark it throughout the day. Hold yourself accountable to live a life based on your values and see how it makes you feel so much more aligned with yourself. See how it makes your life feel so much more fulfilling, and it makes you feel more confident when you see that you are living a life based on your values. Things change. The most beautiful thing about values, in my opinion, are that they are not static. They are able to ebb and flow and evolve as you grow. Let them evolve with you. If there is something that you once valued that you are clinging on to now, it's probably causing misalignment in your life. It's time for you to let that value go and to step into a new one that feels more aligned with you. It's okay to change the set of values that you live your life based on, as long as they have a net positive effect on you, as long as they feel aligned with you and make you feel like you are living a better version of your life every single day. Your values are built through decisions. They are built through your actions of how you are able to create a life that truly fits you. I hope that this episode gave you some clarity on what values you have in your life and what you want to do moving forward in order to figure them out if you're still feeling confused. I hope that I gave you the tools, I gave you the resources, I gave you the mindset, the motivation for you to step into a life based on your values. Because the thing is that we could feel so disconnected, we could feel so disoriented when we don't live a life based on values. Your life just feels so much more grounded when you connect with your values every single day. And this doesn't mean that you have to have it all figured out right now. Take some time, take a moment after this episode and think about your values, think about your patterns, think about the things that you do. Take this next week to think about it. You just need to start paying attention to your life and how you spend your time in order for your values to reveal themselves to you. Your life, your values, your value as a person becomes so much more clear when you stop asking yourself, who should I be? And start noticing who you already are and how you show up in your life. And I hope today I just give you some motivation to figure out your values, to look at your life, to analyze, to see where it is that you are aligned and misaligned, to step into a life that feels better for you. Because values and living my life based off of them has really just changed the game for me. And I know that I will do the same for you, because if I've gone through it, I know that you can go through it too, that you can live a life that feels like it is just so aligned with you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give this video a thumbs up. If you are watching on YouTube, click subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please give this podcast a 5-star review and follow along there as well. And if you really liked today's episode, please comment down below your favorite takeaway from the video. I really, 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 really love hearing from you all in the comments. And if you really want to follow along the To Be Known journey, you could check out To Be Known Pod on Instagram and TikTok. The links will always be in the show notes below. And with all that being said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night, whatever time you're ending up listening to this at, and stay true to you. Bye.